One change that I made to be more green was I sold our second car. I was using it primarily just to get to and from work, which was a 15-minute drive, and it's only a 10-minute cycle. So I sold the car and bought an electric bike, and I've never looked back since.
When I learned about the impacts of fast fashion on the environment and the ethical impacts of who makes my clothes, I decided I didn't want to buy any new clothes anymore. So at the beginning of the year, I made the decision to not buy anything new and to buy off Vinted or in charity shops or have hand-me-downs from friends. And so now my wardrobe feels ethical and sustainable in a way that it didn't before.
Okay, water butts, they're wonderful. It means that you're using rainwater, not mains water, good for the environment and good for your plants because it's not treated, it just comes from the sky. Plastic water butt like this, 200 litres, that's going to cost you round about 60 or 70 pounds. But the only downside is it is plastic, so I'm going to show you an alternative. So if you want one that's a little bit more rustic and crucially one that Mrs. James thinks looks nice around the house, go on eBay. Look for second-hand whiskey barrels, wine barrels or beer barrels, take your pick. They cost a little bit more but they do look a lot nicer. You'd be paying maybe 100 to 200 pounds, depends where you source them. Does require a little bit of work. You need to buy yourself a tap and a connected kit. Neither are very expensive. Little bit of drilling down here, screw in your tap, little bit of attachment behind there, and we have a nice repurposed whiskey barrel water butt.
So I don't mind admitting that I don't know enough about how banks use my money, but I did recently discover that the 5 main high street banks are largely responsible for funding the arms trade and munitions, and I didn't want my money to be going towards that. So I've moved all of my money and all of my banking over to a building society that is much more ethical and makes better decisions with how they use my money.
So I'm a vegetarian because I know that eating less meat has a really big impact on the environment, and even if you can't go completely veggie, cutting down meat to just a few meals a week can have a huge difference.
As many of you know, my son Sam is really passionate about environmental justice, and the thing it's made me do is basically just research more to find out more about what we can do that will make a good impact.